Hey there, Gemini. Welcome to your reading for the week of May 22nd. We're just going to jump right in here, Gemini. In your current general energies, you have this card that says a fiery climax approaches. This is the full moon in Aries, and you have the Three of Cups, the King of Wands, and the Two of Cups. That looks like fire to me. So, there could be a fire sign that's coming in for you if you're looking for love. It also could just, I'm getting that it could be any sign. And, if you're looking for love, I feel it could be just a very fiery connection. You have the Two of Cups here, and Two of Cups is like a perfect match. So, I don't know, really, how do I feel about the Two of Cups? Personally, I prefer to see other things come up other with the Two of Cups, because to me the Two of Cups can represent stepping stone soulmates. If you don't know what a stepping stone soulmate is, it's basically like a person who comes into your life. Usually we feel very strongly attracted to them, or we feel a very strong bond to them because they remind us of us years ago. Usually a stepping stone, it's a stepping stone soulmate when they have like a similar story to you like years ago. They usually come in to remind us of something that we went through in the past. And it just popped into my head. I don't say it often, but when it pops into my head, I definitely feel that. And what I would say is, luckily, you have the Ace of Cups here, so this does look like true love to me. But again, it's kind of like in the back of my mind. I'm wondering if you will have like two choices or something like that, and you might feel a stronger attraction to one of them at first. But again, if I would say that, and again, stepping stone soulmates, like Two of Cups, usually, like if you had money problems like 10 years ago, they might be going through something very, very similar to what you went through, or maybe they have a very similar childhood to what you went through. And again, that's how you can kind of like tell the difference. And again, I'm not saying it's always true, but it's kind of popping into my head here. And you have the Three of Cups, so it kind of looks like you have a choice. And I'm just saying, like, it's kind of giving me the vibes here that this reading is like saying, don't just, rush into one side or the other, kind of like feel things out and see how things go. And again, you might be more attracted to, one side or the other. But again, if you give it time, you might find that one is really it's more just reminding you of where you have been. So you feel like there's a stronger connection. Again, we feel that there's a connection because when we relate to a person, obviously we feel like there's a stronger connection. And this is just kind of giving me the vibes that the other one, I don't want to go on and on and on about this, sorry, but I try to keep these concise. But what I would say is, I feel like the other person, maybe there isn't that like immediate spark. Maybe there isn't that immediate feeling, but maybe it's more something that grows over time, and I'm kind of getting that here. Also, another clue here is that the not stepping stone soulmate person is probably a fire sign, or they have fire in their chart. Like, we're talking either their sun sign, or it could be like their rising, or maybe they have, Venus or Jupiter. As far as I'm concerned, having like Venus or Jupiter in there as well for love purposes would also be acceptable. But obviously don't be asking people for their charts on first dates, people, but give it time before you let them know that you're a astronaut, right? But I would say it could be a fire sign. The other thing I'm getting here is that there's something you need to make a move on here, because we go to the Three of Wands. Three of Wands basically says, what are you waiting for? You have the Ten of Wands, which is a card of burdens, but you might be overcomplicating something. And then you go to the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is showing up in the area of the good stuff, and so it's going to be good no matter what. But the Five of Swords on the positive side of things, to me, can represent taking a risk, but in the good stuff, it can say that you are taking the risk to kind of expand with the Three of Wands here, and the risk is going to pay off. So if you feel like you're overcomplicating like a business or your career or whatever, you probably are, and this would say like taking a risk could make things better. You have the Three of Cups again. I don't know, immediately gave me the feelings of like two people. So I feel like some of you have like options in love, or you have like two people in love. And like I said, I would date, or, I would give them both a chance or something here. I'm not saying hide it, but, I just feel like, I just get that feeling that one is a much better option, and maybe initially it doesn't seem that way. Again, not telling you what to do. Someone is always all up in my comments like, how dare you tell me who I can date? And I'm like, that's learn how to listen. Number one, I don't care who you date, go for it. If you want to date the convicted felon who has 100 felonies, right, and who reminds you of your past, then go for it. I don't care, enjoy it, right? But for the rest of you, there's clearly a much better option, right? I think you catch my drift here. So there you go. But let's see what's going on here. With the Three of Cups, you have the Hermit. I thought you had the Hermit twice. You don't. But, again, the other thing is like one of these options might be a hermit. So one of them might not like want to go out as much or something. I don't know, but that's definitely popping into my head. I also feel you have those 2 threes, 3 of cups, 3 of wands. 3 of wands is really about, 3 of cups is about celebrating. 3 of wands is about getting out into the world. So for a lot of you, and you have the queen of swords as well, which, this could be you, but she normally sees things clearly. Like the clouds are clearing above her head on a traditional queen of swords. So it might be time for you to like get out in public, things like that. With the King of Wands, what do you know? You have the Queen of Wands. I knew something like this was going to happen because, I just get that feeling from this reading. There's a very strong connection coming in here, very fiery. I literally said that at the beginning of the reading, and, very strong just in general. A lot of desire between the two of you here. So, like I said, I feel like if it's a fire sign or someone very fiery, that there's going to be a very strong connection here. If you do not want love, and even if you do, the other thing I will say is that, the King and Queen of Wands, they both represent like boldly moving towards a dream. And I can see here in your next row that you have the Shooting Star card, which is like kind of like moving towards a wish. So if there's something that you want to manifest, something that you've been waiting on, 3 of Wands, again, I get a very strong like waiting energy from that 3 of Wands. I do feel like this is saying be bold, like boldly move towards it. With the 2 of Cups, you have the Hangman. You're waking up to this. It's like, Hangman, when you think about it, he's not making any moves. He's put himself in Hangman mode. He sacrificed the use of his arms and his legs, but his head is glowing. So it's kind of like he has to sacrifice a little bit of time, right? And I kind of get that feeling for you in love. It's like maybe you don't wake up to this King of Wands person right away. For others, by the way, for some of you, I am getting that this reading is basically just saying you have woken up to it now. Like maybe you work next to a person and like all of a sudden you're becoming attracted to this person. I don't really think it's all of a sudden though. I think you've just woken up to what's always been there, right? And so, that could be for some of you. Could be like a friend or, someone that you hang out with or something like that as well. It's kind of what I'm getting here. But, like, again, what are you waiting for is what the 3 of Wands is saying here. But see, the whole reading is talking about clarity because you have this Queen of Swords, going this way. It's like you have become clear now. And, it definitely could be about love because of that Ace of Cups. But like I said, it doesn't have to be. Next, you have this Scales of Balance. It says, find balance within and things will balance out around you. Yes, super important right now. You have the Shooting Star. It says, what you've asked is coming true. Your wish is about to manifest. I'm pretty sure I said, like, one of your readings recently, I titled it something about the universe, giving you what you asked for. I'm pretty sure it was you, Gemini. So if that was you, I definitely think this is true. That you've asked for something and now you're receiving it. It could be love, Maybe you can't believe it as well because you have the 3 of Wands. So you have the Hierophant 3 of Wands and the Knight of Swords. Sometimes I think with the 3 of Wands, we ask the universe for something. The 3 of Wands can be your ships coming in, literally what you've asked for arriving, and then but you could be doubting it at the same time. You're like, oh, it can't be that easy that I would get exactly what I've been asking for. So I feel like this is saying like don't hang around and wait, especially if something that you wanted comes in. You have the Knight of Swords here. See, going this way, we go 10 of Wands to the Ace of Cups from the Knight of Swords. I do feel this is kind of like saying don't rush a decision, which we already talked about at the beginning of the reading. It's like I feel for whatever reason that this could, again, not telling you what to do, not telling you who you have to date or whatever. You do you, boo. But what I am saying is, I wouldn't rush the decision. It looks to me like, if you have choices, especially or options, like one is clearly better than the other. And I'm not saying I think they look like a good option. It's just like maybe the other one, like I said, is a stepping stone soulmate. So maybe they initially look more attractive, but they're really not. So, I would just like take your time here. A lot of people have had the Knight of Swords this week. And again, the benefit of you going last, basically, you're like the last set of readings that I'm doing this week, is that I see everybody else's readings. So these things kind of stand out to me. And sometimes these collective energies affect, pretty much everybody. So I just wouldn't rush any decisions. Knight of Swords is my card of getting a second opinion. So if you are getting your car fixed or your house fixed, I always say, like, if someone's like, oh, it's going to cost $1 million, it's like, obviously get a second opinion, because sometimes Knight of Swords can be like, it's not that someone's trying to like screw you or anything. It's just more that maybe they don't know. It's kind of like immaturity. It's like if you have an inexperienced mechanic, it's like maybe he or she, whatever, doesn't know a better way of doing things, right? So, it's like one of those things where getting a second opinion is probably always a good idea, especially when dealing with money. So anything you're doing involving money, I would get a second opinion. It could even be something else like buying a car, or maybe you want to buy something expensive. At the end here, you have this bad investment card. It is showing up in the good stuff. So, that row makes it good no matter what. But, I would just be careful. You have the Hierophant. Definitely could be a person that you're going to be marrying coming in for you. Also, by the way, the Hierophant kind of blesses us, and you have that Shooting Star card, which says, getting some sort of wish that you've asked to come true. So it looks to me like the universe is listening to you or is blessing you with something. With the Hierophant, you have the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is like a little bit of a stuck energy. Four of Pentacles can represent holding on too tightly to the past, so I definitely feel it would be a good time to kind of like release the past, or, release anything that you feel has been holding you back. With the Three of Wands, you have the King of Cups here. Could be a water sign for some of you, I suppose. I would say it would be a very fiery water sign, or, whatever. But, it could be a water sign coming in for you. I also feel this could just be talking about controlling your emotions at this time. And also it could be saying, like, don't make an emotional decision is kind of what I'm getting. With the Knight of Swords, you have the Page of Cups. Could be a water sign. Whatever, take it how it resonates. But it could also just be... that you have an admirer. So there could be, or you are an admirer, take it how it resonates. But, this could be like an offer coming in for you. Again, if you don't want love, I would say that going this way here, the Page of Cups normally has like a fish in his cup. And to me, that fish kind of represents an opportunity that you have to grab onto. And we see that with the Three of Wands, the Ten of Wands. You could be thinking something is actually harder than it actually is, right? So if you like want to start a business, or want to start a YouTube channel or something, I would just get started, because you might be overcomplicating something that could bring a lot of fulfillment. The Ten of Cups. The Ace of Cups at the end. That's like a lot of fulfillment. Next, in the area of the unexpected, you have this High Honor card and this Family Room card. Again, I kind of do feel that this is like a love reading. I always say, people always say you don't do love readings. I'm like, well, actually, I do whatever comes up reading. So, that's that. But what I would say here is I feel like you could be attracting a person who, like, number one, wants a family, but number two, is of high honor. I feel like they are just like a very honorable person and a good person. I also kind of get like for some of you, I get this like vibe of, I don't think anything's hidden, right? But it's almost like this person's rank is hidden. It's like, maybe, again, if you're dating, maybe someone doesn't reveal everything to you right away, which isn't, I'm not saying they're lying. I'm just saying maybe they aren't telling you like, oh, I have $10 billion in the bank account. It's like, maybe they seem successful, but you're not sure how successful. Catch my drift here? It's like, I kind of get that feeling where it's like, as you kind of learn this person, you could discover that they're like super successful, or, maybe they're very well traveled or something like that. It's kind of giving me the feelings of value. So, I feel like for some of you could be attracting someone very valuable, but I just think they don't like rub it in everybody's face, right? But again, you won't discover this if you don't go on like multiple dates with this person, or, whatever the case may be. In this row of the unexpected, you have the Five of Wands, the Ten of Wands, and the Queen of Swords here. Kind of interesting. Number one, Five of Wands can be conflict and competition, but I actually feel like telling you to move towards conflict and competition. To me personally, the Five of Wands is not that bad of a card. Normally, the people on the card they're using sticks to fight. They're not using swords, and so it kind of represents the fact that they are learning how to fight. They're learning how to battle. They're not really fighting. So it's kind of like more of a card of learning, and I feel like you have learned a lot over the years. You have the Ten of Wands. Ten of Wands to me says you're much closer to your goal than you realize. Again, that Shooting Star card says what you've asked for is coming true. And you have this Ten of Wands. The story of the Ten of Wands is that the guy has carried his 10 wands, but those 10 wands are his harvest. He grew those 10 wands, and on the traditional Ten of Wands, his home is in the background, so he's about to have a harvest. And again, I kind of feel that. It's like you're much closer than you think, or you're about to have a harvest much sooner than you think. And I feel like you finally see things clearly with the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords normally only has clouds like halfway up her body. She's got her sword up, her hand out, right? She's ready to receive, and she's kind of like cautiously optimistic. She has that sword that she's holding up. She's, ready to defend herself, but, again, she is kind of like open to receiving. So I feel like I really feel this is a good row, even with that Five of Wands and the Ten of Wands. I know a lot of people consider the Ten of Wands to be a bad card. I never have. To me, it's always been a good card because he's about to have a harvest. Like, yeah, he might be burdened, but he earned it. It's like, anything that you earn doesn't necessarily come easily. With the Five of Wands, you have the Five of Wands. Basically, the universe saying I meant what I said. With the Ten of Wands, you have the King of Pentacles here. Kind of interesting. You have almost every single king, right? You have 1, 2, 3 kings. So, definitely could be attracting like an emperor type person. That leads me to believe that it could be an Aries or, someone with a lot of Aries in their chart, probably. I think I said that at the beginning of the reading. I could be wrong, but, we don't have the other king yet. That might change here in a minute. But the King of Pentacles is something permanent, so if you're attracting love, could be a permanent love. Even going this way here, I feel like you're focusing on your resources and you could be creating more long-term resources. With the Queen of Swords, you have a world, definitely like some sort of accomplishment. It doesn't even want to focus. Definitely some sort of accomplishment coming in for you here. And it could be a new begin. I kind of feel like it's talking about a new beginning. In the major arcana, we go from, part of the Fool's journey, we go from the Fool to the World, and then we just start all over again as the Fool. So, that's what's popping into my head, is like, I feel like you're having this new beginning or something like that. Next, in the area of the good stuff, no matter what shows up here, it's going to be good no matter what. You have this blocked third eye chakra. It says, may feel non-assertive, afraid of success, bad intuition, make you egotistical. But again, this is the good stuff, so I feel like the opposite. Like, good things are coming in through your intuition, but definitely trust your intuition. You have this bad investment card. It says, not investing in the right things, people, or bad money management. I would definitely watch your money at this time for sure, but you have the Ten of Wands, which tells me that you're becoming more efficient, maybe with your finances, or you're learning ways to do that as well. You have the Ace of Cups, the Five of Swords, and the Queen of Pentacles. Some of you may have gone through a breakup, but it looks to me like, again, it's showing up in the good stuff. So I feel like you could be kind of getting out of the breakup energy and you're entering into a new energy of love. And so I feel if you want love, there definitely could be a new love connection coming in for you. I also feel that you could be taking a risk. Again, Five of Swords is my card of, taking some sort of risk. Usually the risks we take with the Five of Swords are, kind of like calculated risk, and it kind of represents winning at all costs. So I feel like you will win if you're taking some sort of risk. You have the Ace of Cups. Again, the whole entire reading has been about love. What I find super interesting about the Ace of Cups in this deck is this right here. There's a dragonfly right above my finger here. It's kind of hard to see, but dragonflies as a totem animal, they kind of represent an illusion. If you've ever looked through a dragonfly's wings, they're kind of like, iridescent, and it's like looking through a stained glass window. And so for a lot of you, again, I would make sure that you're seeing something that is actually there, right? If you're dating, like I said, I would get, I wouldn't just rush right into something with that Knight of Swords here, especially because we go Knight of Swords up, so it's like I would take your time a little bit, and I would like make sure that you get the facts on, people that you're dating. Although, again, I do feel there's a solid connection coming in. You also have the Queen of Pentacles, which she is very resourceful. After all that love talk, I feel like a lot of you could be very focused on your resources or increasing your resources. That could be your main focus. But again, that could be exactly why you're attracting love. I always tell people, it's like when I used to do readings back in the day, people would always be like, oh, I went through this horrible breakup, but my money's been getting better. I'm like, yeah, why do you think that is? It's because you're not focusing on your money, you're focusing on the breakup. So it's like you're removing all your focus, you're not choking it off, right? So it's like I've heard from like a billion people who they go through a breakup, their money improves. And again, it's because you're so focused on the breakup that you're not creating, negative flow in your finances, right? And so I feel that's exactly the opposite could also be true. Maybe because you're so focused on your finances, love is showing up in this reading. So that's what I'll say there. People always leave me comments. They're like, I don't want love. I'm like, well, yeah, that's fine, but it's not going to stop a person from approaching you. It's not going to stop a person from like coming towards you. You don't have to accept it into your life. Of course not, if you don't want it. But again, it's not going to stop a person from, kind of like moving towards you, right? With the Ace of Cups, you have the Ten of Wands. I knew that those two were connected. I literally said it, and they are. I mean, they're touching. But there's clearly some sort of, good thing coming in after heavy burdens. With the Five of Swords, you have the Knight of Swords again. So this could be the risk that you're taking right here. Knight of Swords, you have the Knight of Swords with the Page of Cups. Definitely could be new love. Again, I would just like, maybe you can't necessarily get a second opinion on love. Again, I always tell people I don't listen to anyone's opinion when I'm in a relationship. It's like, unless I'm inviting that other person into the bedroom with me and my partner, I'm not going to take their advice, right? So that's my rule. If they're not in the bedroom with us, they have no say over the relationship. I've heard too many stories of too many people who have ruined their relationships by, their friend is like, oh, this person's a jerk or whatever. They listen to them, even though their friend has no freaking clue what they're talking about. It's like, don't fall into that trap, right? Good relationships aren't very common nowadays. So, it's like, you don't want to be out here on these streets, right? And so I feel like the Knight of Swords is saying, maybe you give yourself a second opinion. You do your own research. You don't just rush right into the situation, right? With the Queen of Pentacles, you have the Hierophant. It could also be an Earth sign. Could be a Taurus. You have Taurus 1, 2, 3 times right here. So, it could be a Taurus or a person who has a lot of Taurus in their chart. I definitely feel for a lot of you that the universe is also blessing you. You have that Hierophant twice, and you also have that Shooting Star card. So, definitely a very good reading here, Gemini. So let's see here. We're going to pull 5 main themes. Let's see what else comes up. You have this falseness card. Again, one person is false, one person is real. I don't think they're false. I just think that one person could be like a stepping stone soulmate, and the other person is real. It's like more of a real kind of connection. Next, you have this old woman card. I would be careful of old ladies. No, just kidding, old ladies. Okay, don't come at me. But what I would say is I would be careful of. It's kind of funny that I said the whole letting someone into your bedroom thing. I would be careful of anyone who kind of inserts their opinion on something that they shouldn't be sharing their opinion on, especially if they don't have to deal with the consequences. So that's what I would say here. I kind of get that vibe here. Next, you have this melancholy card. Again, I would get out of the sadness. Although, again, like I said, I feel like your focus is on your money, which could be the reason why you're attracting love. It's like, I'm not saying that you don't feel lonely if you happen to feel lonely, right? But it's like maybe you're focusing just enough on your money that it's, not choking you off in your love life, and it's allowing love to flow in. So I kind of get that feeling here. Next, you have this enemy card. I would be careful. I mean, I say this, I've said this to you before. We had Mars retrograde in your sign. It was in your sign for an extended period of time as well. You have this falseness card, this enemy card. I would be careful of gossip and rumors and things like that. I always say that even though Mars is out of Gemini, it doesn't matter. We dealt with that energy this year. And sorry, I dropped this camera. People keep leaving me comments like thinking they know what camera I use. And first off, you have no clue. Second, I dropped the camera, so it just does not focus anymore for whatever reason. So I need to get a new lens or something. But what I would say here is that I feel like for a lot of you, I would be very careful of like any enemies or gossip. I wouldn't even deal with it, right? I would just ignore it. You have this messenger card. What is this here? And you have this wedding card. Some of you could be a wedding invitation. It could also be communication from a person that you will marry in the future. So there you go. I keep trying to get it to well, it kind of works there, Gemini, but again, I feel there could be marriage material coming in for you. You have the Hierophant twice, but really good reading, Gemini. I like where this is going. If you don't want love, sorry, this was totally a love reading. So there you go. But thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.